Hey everybody, this is Mr. Carey coming back to you with another GoMath 4th grade lesson. And today we are going to talk about lesson 4.10, placing the first digit. And I've been away for a little bit. We've been out of school because of the fires in Northern California, which has made the smoke. The air hasn't been the best to breathe around here. And so we've had a few days off, which has been a good few days, but I know I'm ready to get back to school, and I'm sure many of my students are. I haven't taught this lesson yet in the class, but this will be a good, I hate to say rainy day since it's not raining, but you're stuck inside and you need something to do, why not crack open your GoMath book and do lesson 4.10. So if you have your book with you, or if you have the online version, I'm at 181. It starts at 180, but I'm at 181, and we're going to talk about placing the first digit. Now, we've already done a lot of division, many different kinds of division, and this is going to be the first time that we really kind of get into doing division like the traditional long division way. Before we do that, we need to look at the question. And the question is, how can we use place value to know where to place the first digit in the quotient? All right. So before we get into this, let's look at some division terminology, and then let's look at some place value terminology. So let's do place value first. So if I have a number, and I'll just come up with, I'll use the one in the book because it's easy, 8,257. All right, and let's make this really big so I can kind of draw on it. So I have this number. There we go, it's better. What are my place values? All right, what are the different values associated with this? Well, we know, and this is going back to chapter 1, we know that this, the 8, is going to be in the thousands. Awesome. And we know the 2, where's the 2 going to be? Hundreds. Good. The 5 is going to be in the tens. Perfect. And the 7 is going to be in the ones. Outstanding. So that is place value. That's just a review. And I could make bigger numbers and do it. But this is going to make sense when we start doing our division, because we need to know place value, where things go. When I say hundreds, tens, ones, thousands, it has to be like automatic. You just have to know, yeah, got it, thousands. All right, so let's erase that, and let's get that one out of there. Perfect. So now let's go over review some division vocabulary. It's been a little bit, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to draw out my division. There. I kind of need to put that there too. And then we have this. Bear with me. And then I'm going to put that here and then that here. So these are the two ways we do division problems. Usually we see it in a line like this, and then sometimes we see it, with a little division sign like this. And it's both the same thing. So when we see division, we need to know which way to turn it around, which way. So if we see it like this way, we need to know how to switch the numbers around so they go like this. Otherwise, you get a completely different answer. So let's start with dividend. Perfect. Now, what's the next line going to be? This one right there. What's that going to be? Yeah, if you said divisor, that is correct. And then this is going to be my answer, otherwise known as the quotient. Good. And then up here I didn't have enough room, but that, if I have anything left over, that is my remainder. Running out of room, there's my remainder. Perfect. And let's go ahead and, now if I wanted to switch them over to here, where would things go? Well, you probably know up here, let's start with what we know, right? Quotient. Good. We know if I have anything left over, that'll be the remainder. Perfect. All right, now this is where we need to kind of be careful. What are these right here? Right, so you have to switch them, right? So the dividend is first here, but dividend needs to go in here. And then your divisor, what you're dividing by, is right there. So take a minute and look at that. Hopefully you're writing it down with me and not just kind of looking at it, because if you write it down, the more you look at it, the more you write it down, the more you're going to remember it. All right, so this is the basis for everything we do in division. So let's go ahead. I think we're good. And we need a second to write that down. Okay. And sorry, got to go. Okay, let's look at our first problem. So we are going to place the first digit. And our problem of the day, and I'm just going to go off the book, 181, because if you're following along, that'll help you. And I'll come up with one on my own. All right, so in this one, Victor, well, that's a little big. Don't need it that big. Let's go down back to, there we go. There we go. Victor took 144 photos on a digital camera. The photos are to be placed equally in 6 photo albums. How many will be placed in each album? So this is actually, it's a pretty good, it's actually not a bad question. And it's actually very realistic of what I'm glad he said digital camera, unless he's going to print them out. But yeah, let's say you have 144 photos and you need to put them into 6 different photo albums, right? Okay, well then what would that look like? How many photos are going to be in each photo album? You could always let Amazon Prime do it if you want, but if you'd like to do it yourself like me, let's go ahead and figure this out. So we're going to underline, what do we need to find? Remember, whenever you look at this, students tend to get kind of, I don't really know. It's just really confusing. So I'm not going to underline, I'm going to highlight in green. In green, I use that for my quotients. What do we need to find? What will be the quotient? Right, and if you said how many will be placed in each album, right? That is our quotient. So that's going to be our answer. How many photos are in each album? Now let's highlight in red. Actually, let's highlight in blue. What would be our dividend? Right, 144. We're starting with, we have 144 photos, and we need to divide them by something to get our quotient. Now, what do we need to divide by? And I'm going to highlight that in red because I usually do my divisor in red. Now, if you said 6, I'll put 6 photo albums. 6 photo albums, I'll even say placed equally, because that's important. It's if we have a remainder, what do we do with the remainder? Can we have, a half of a photo? Can we just rip the photo in half and put it? No, we can't do that. So it'd have to be equally. So let's figure out what we need to do. All right. First off, let's draw or write our division problem. And I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to show you 6. There's my divisor, my dividend. Oh, look at that. I'm already ahead of myself here. 144. Perfect. And because I like to highlight, there's my dividend, and there is my quotient. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to draw over here using base 10 blocks. Well, trying to use base 10 blocks anyway. Okay, so I've got, and I'm going to draw this in blue, right? And there is my hundreds. Awesome. I'm going to draw my tens. Maybe. There's my tens. Kind of tens, right? Close enough. Let's move it around. And let's go ahead and copy it. So we have 100. So these are my hundreds. And these are going to be my tens. So I have 144. Well, how many tens am I going to have? Remember, place value. How many tens am I going to have? That's right, I'm going to have 4 of these. So let's go ahead and perfect. That's 140, and now I need little tiny blocks, my little ones. And there we go. There's 141, 142, and then look at this, 144. Perfect. All right, I didn't really draw them very well. Here, let's organize these a little bit. And I realize this isn't to scale, but it's pretty close. All right, there's my 144. So now let's look at the place value in the first digit, 144, right? Look at the hundreds, 1, right? And I'll underline it, 1, right? Okay, can I share this 100 equally among 6 groups? Obviously, yes, breaking it apart. But without breaking it, can I take that 100 and share it equally? And the answer is no, I can't. I can't share that equally. So what do I have to do? Yeah, break it apart. But if you said the math term, which I love, which is regrouping, you are absolutely correct. So let's go ahead and start regrouping. Take off that. I'm going to take that 100s away, and now I'm going to turn that into 10 tens. So watch this magic. I love doing this. There's 4. Oh, moving that around. 4, 8, and then let's do 2 of them. 9, 10. And there's my hundreds. Yeah, it's not all perfect and aligned, but I broke apart my hundreds. I regrouped them. So now, how many tens do I have to share among 6 groups? How many tens, right? Because I can't use hundreds, so I got to move down to the tens. Well, if you're not sure, let's count them up, right? And I'm going to use black to just kind of count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Awesome. And that makes sense because 140 is nothing more than 14 tens. So now, where is the first digit of the quotient going to be? Let's go back to our division, right? Where is that going to be? Perfect. And if you said it's going to be in the tens place, you are absolutely correct. So, how many times can I divide 14 tens into 6 groups? 2. Correct. Now, I'll slow down here. Where did I get this 2? Well, I'll start erasing these as I group them. Ready? So imagine I have 2, let's draw a circle because we like circles, groups. Remember, I have, let's say, 6 groups, and I have to divide 2, 4, and then 6. Oh, got a little bit of a half circle there. All right, remember, there's my groups. There's my photo albums. So as I start moving, let's start counting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Okay, and let's erase. 1. Oh, I don't need that many. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to be too many to erase. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. See if I can just erase it here. Probably not going to let me. That's okay. Let's do this. Let's move it around. All right, let's try a different one. I'll just delete all of these. There goes that. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Perfect. So now we did our 6 tens, and now looks like we have 8 tens left. So let's go ahead and move more of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Now let's delete 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need all of those. I should have 2 tens left over. I'll bring those tens back. Trust me, 10 and 10. I have my 2 tens back. Okay, perfect. So now, where did I get this 2 that's up in the quotient? Well, how many tens are in each group? How many tens are in each group? Perfect. There's 2 tens in each group, and that's where I got 2. Or you think about it, I have 14. How many times can 6 go into 14? Or 6 times what gives me 14? Okay, so, and then how many total 10s did we put together in our 6 separate groups? 12, right? 6 times 2 is 12. Cool. And I don't know, can I move all this? No, I can't. It's not going to let me move that. That's fine. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to bring that. There we go. No, just need you to delete. You to delete. There we go. Okay, let's bring that back. 6 times 2 is 12 minus, and then how many 10s did I have left over? Right? I had a 10, 10, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many 10s are left over? And if you said 2, that's correct, because 14 minus 12 is 2. All right, now I have 2 10s left. Can I group the 10s equally among 6 groups? No, so I'm going to have to break those apart, which means I just regroup, which is, that's all I got to do. So let's take those 10s away, and then I just make 20, right? Oop, forgot to erase you. And then we just draw 20, right? 1, 2, maybe in the correct color. All right, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, now I have 24 1s. All right, so I got to bring that 4 down. That's in my 1s. I have 24 1s. This is regrouping, right? This should start to make a little sense of when I say, oh, bring the 4 down. I bring it down because I'm doing 1s now, right? I have 1s. So now, how many times can 6 go into 24? Or how many groups of 24 can I make? How many times? I have 24 left over. How many times can I group that into 6? Or 6 times what gives me 24? And this is just a basic math fact. So 6 times 4 gives me 24. And then you have to go 4 times 6 gives me 24. 0, I used all of, look at that, I used all of it. Erase that. Outstanding. Okay, do I have any 1s left over? No, I have nothing left over. So the answer to this is there will be 24 photos in each album. Pretty cool, huh? Now that took us, 18 minutes to go through that, but it was if you are new to division and this whole bringing down and multiplying and subtract, if it doesn't make any sense to you, this was a well-spent 18 minutes, I think. Because this should start to make a little sense especially when I do it quickly. But let's do another one. All right. I'll do. I don't want to use the example in 182. I mean, I can. Same thing with photos, but let's do share and show. What's a good number? Okay, let's do 394. That's a good question. 394 divided by 5. Now, I don't have a fancy word problem for this, but I could say Mr. Carey is building a house and he has 394 nails and he wants to group his nails into groups of 5. How many nails will be in each group? For whatever reason, I'm grouping my nails. I don't know why. Now remember, this is my divisor, that is my dividend, and this is going to be my quotient. And now let's flip it around, right? 5 goes into 394, and then let's shade our, right? There's our divisor, there's our dividend, and there is our quotient. And now I'm not going to use the base 10 blocks this time. I'm just going to kind of talk you through it, right? And if you're following along, this is page 183 on your own. Page 183, number 5. I just want to kind of pick another question, one with a remainder this time. And I know this is going to be a remainder. And my students, if you're watching this, tell your parents right now why you're going to have a remainder. Looking at 5, right, and looking at 394. Turn to your parents right now and tell them why you're going to have a remainder. I'll give you a minute. Okay? And maybe like 10 seconds. All right. So, if you told your parents that because 5 has the multiples, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, right? Those are your multiples. Not one in there is there going to be a 4, right? So, I know if this was 395, I'd be good, or 390, or 400, but I know there's going to be a remainder. And if you turned to your parents and told them that, fantastic. And if you didn't, and you knew it, just had a hard time explaining it, that's okay too. So let's start with this. Let's start with my hundreds, okay? Here we go, there's my hundreds. Can I divide 3 hundreds, if I have my 3 hundreds blocks, can I divide that equally in 5 groups? Nope. Nope, I can't. So I'm going to have to regroup my 300s into 30 tens. Now we go to 39. Okay, can I regroup 39 tens equally among 5 groups? Sure I can. All right, sure I can. Or think of it this way. 5 times what gets me close to 39 without going over? And if you said 7, if you said 8, you'd be yes, but remember that takes you over because 8 times 5 gives you 40, and that would be too many. We can't do that, right? So, erase that. Now, if you said 7, then you'd be absolutely correct. And where do we put it, though? Do we put it here? No, we don't put it there because we are not dividing by the hundreds, we're dividing by the tens. So, we put our 7 right there. That's where we're dividing. Now, 7 times 5 gives me 35. Hello, erase, thank you. Gives me 35. Perfect. And then what is the difference? How many tens do I have left over? 39 minus 35. I have 4 tens left over. Perfect. Now, can I divide 4 tens equally among 5 groups? No, I cannot. So I have to regroup them as ones. So my 4 tens, poof, magically turn into 41s. But I also have my little 4. Don't forget these guys here. I got to bring my 4 down. Now I have 44 ones. Awesome. So how many times can I group 44 into 5 groups? Or 5 times what gets me close to 44? Remember, without going over. Yes, if you said 8, you would be absolutely correct because 8 times 5 gives me 40. Now, yes, 9 would get me really close, but remember, that would go over. So now I have 44 ones, and I used 40 of my ones. How many ones do I have left over? 4. Awesome, and then now I can just write in 78 with a remainder of 4. And there is your answer, depending on what, remember, interpreting the remainder, right? If I said Mr. Carey needs to regroup his nails, you could say, well, Mr. Carey will have 78 groups of nails, or 78 nails in 5 groups, and he'll have 4 nails left over. You wouldn't use a fraction here because I can't have a fraction of a nail. I guess I could, it just wouldn't work very well. But since we're on that topic, I want you right now to go ahead. I'm going to erase the remainder 4, and I want you to write it as a fraction, right? Let's say I had cups of milk, or I don't know, cups of flour, or inches, yards, miles. Show me what that would look like as a fraction. 78 and what over what? And yes, if you said remainder goes on top and divisor goes on bottom, you would be correct. So my answer would be 78 and 4/5. Awesome. Well, that takes us to the end of lesson 4.10. I have already shared on Think Central, I've already shared 4.10 PMT. This is to my class. 4.10 PMT, give that a go first, right? It's about 2 questions. Remember, show your work. Show your work, show your work, show your work. Don't try and do this stuff in your head. And even when you can't, like, can I do some of this stuff in my head? Yes, I can. Do I like to? Not really. I like to write it down too. So get in the habit of writing your work down. So give 4.10 PMT a try. If you did well, great. Go on to the 4.10 homework and give that a go. And then if you'd like some extra credit, if you want some extra credit, go on to Brain Pop and check out division. And that, I mean, that's just kind of, it's not going to tell you about long division or placing the ones or the tens, but it's a good refresher on division and what it means to divide. But for now, this is Mr. Carey signing off. I will see you at lesson 4.11, which I'll try and record this afternoon to get us ready for Friday and give you guys a little heads up. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, go ahead and leave them on my YouTube comments. Parents, if you're watching this and you have any questions and you don't want to YouTube comment it and you just want to email me, totally fine. Shoot me an email. Let me know if I need to expound on anything. If you need, hey, can you do 10 problems like this? I totally can. Just let me know. Anyway, stay safe out there, stay indoors, and I will hopefully see you all tomorrow. Talk to you later.